These women and children are hungry. They've been standing in the heat since sunrise to buy rice at this government-subsidised outlet.
These women have been queuing for 6 hours for just 5 kilograms of rice. Now they're coming to this government-subsidised depot 2 or 3 times a week because the price of rice is so high at the market.
This was one of the epicentres of Cyclone Nargis. Today, the town of Labuta is almost beyond repair.
The small amount of aid that's trickled in here is clearly not enough.
They've buried 70 bodies so far, but keep finding more. The decomposing bodies are a major health risk for the village, especially the children. Within the next 24 hours, they'll have no drinking water left. This is the last bowl of rice in the entire village. During our interview, he gets a call from the police.
If any incident happens somewhere, the police come and arrest people from the lodges. They want to show their officials that they have arrested tigers. All the Tamil people are living in fear.
Police heavily monitor this predominantly Tamil area. Tamils from the north of the country stay in lodges and guest houses around here. Now, while police have stopped their mass overnight raids, the government says it will continue to track down individuals who they believe are behind the bomb attacks.
This is the very scene Prime Minister Samak had vowed to avoid. Violence outside his office in Bangkok. As police entered these tents, they found concrete evidence the protesters were preparing for a fight.
Police have raided the protesters' tents behind the Government House compound, and inside they've found all manner of makeshift weapons. In this pile here of golf clubs, metal batons and makeshift riot gear. Now their police chief has given them the authority to clear this entire area.
But thousands of protesters remain defiant and camped in the grounds. The atmosphere here is tense and potentially explosive. Hannah Belcher, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
Singapore has one of the largest groups of single Muslim women. Now they're mostly affluent, independent and educated and have the money to go to the Hajj and Mecca. But over the last 2 years, more than 120 of them have had their appeals rejected by the Saudi authorities here in Singapore.
The ailing Palestinian president had a send-off fit for a king on the tarmac at his shell-battered Ramallah compound. 75-year-old Yasser Arafat is on his way to France for urgent medical treatment. Hannah Belcher, BBC News. The People's Alliance for Democracy's armed guards control who comes in and who goes out of Bangkok's international airport. The anti-government protesters are unapologetic for the chaos they've caused.
We are joined now by Hannah Belcher. She is at Suvarnabhumi. Hannah, what's the situation on the ground there?
Well, Selena, there's absolutely no sign of these protesters moving anytime soon. They're becoming more entrenched by the hour.
The forced closure of the international airport by anti-government protesters has stranded thousands of travellers. But it's also paralysed the country's international air freight to the tune of millions of dollars.
Thai Airways says its cargo business is losing more than $11 million a day because of the airport takeovers.
George Kariho's low-key Sunday morning patrol in the back streets of Dili has just been interrupted by an urgent call. George is one of the 1,600 United Nations police officers keeping the peace in East Timor. A thick haze looming large over the city, a serious health hazard. This cocktail of pollutants has recently won Dhaka the unwanted distinction of being the second dirtiest city in the world.
This toxic waste comes from the hundreds of tanneries around here. The government has promised for years to clean it up, but nothing's been done. And environmentalists say Dhaka is quickly becoming a dead city.
It was a smooth takeoff, the 4-engine plane surprisingly quiet. It makes about half the noise of a 747.
Now one of these will cost you about $7,000 return, on the Singapore to Sydney flight. But I'm afraid to say, back there in economy, it's still a tight squeeze.
Sydney Airport has spent $74 million upgrading its terminal, all for the privilege of hosting the world's biggest jetliner. Hannah Belcher, Al Jazeera. Hannah Belcher, BBC News.